Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is live from our studios here at Kokomlemle is Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we're live on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Amenuveve FM in Aflao, Swiss FM in Ho, Gaskia FM in Techiman, A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bolgatanga, Jata FM in Karaga and KTU Radio in Koforidua. For our global audience, please download the My Joy Online app from Play Store and App Store to listen live. In this edition, unproductive, unacceptable, and lazy. That's the response to government's decision to tax electronic transaction. We'll hear from an economist as he warns the proposal will further marginalize the poor.
The wrong way to go. Government should just abolish it before they even start implementing it. We have failed. We are adopting these indirect ways that imposes greater cost on the poor and the marginalized and the socially excluded.
But government is not backing down on the proposal, insisting the country must share the burden of addressing the revenue shortfall.
And the objective of government is to be able to raise revenues to do the expenditures that you and I are expecting the government to do. There's a cost to everything.
We hear from the Telecoms Chamber on that proposal. Also, meanwhile, it's free ride at a toll booth as government's directive abolishing all pay points takes effect today. But it is pain and anguish for hawkers at these booths.
And then the game started. And after 50 minutes, I went to the bench and I said to my two assistants, forget it, forget it. Ghana will win this game. I hope, really hope, that we can at least replay that game because we deserve that.
The Ghana Football Association describes match-fixing allegations leveled against it by South Africa's Football Association as shocking and irresponsible following a 0-1 World Cup qualifier defeat to Ghana last Sunday. We have details as the GFA confirms it has received correspondence pertaining to complaints filed by the South Africans to FIFA. And later in showbiz, bars on bars on bars, the God MC finally drops his much-anticipated album, Medina, to the universe.
Up on the booth, Mr. Fiddler. Only two rappers I know in Africa. Medina to the universe, la la la.
We'll hear from rapper Manifest later in the bulletin. You want to stay for that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. Many thanks for joining us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. This afternoon, economist with the University of Ghana, Professor Godfrey Bopping, has described as unproductive government decision to impose taxes on electronic transactions. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, in the 2022 budget statement presented to Parliament yesterday, announced a 1.75% levy on all electronic transactions in a move to widen the tax net. This, when approved, will affect mobile money payments, bank transfers, merchant payments, and inward remittances. But Professor Godfrey Bopping is warning the tax will further marginalize the poor in society. We'll hear more from him shortly, but first, listen to the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, speaking to Accra-based Peace FM on plans to tax mobile money transactions last year.
No, the point is that you are not taxing mobile money, and it is, for me, my view and that we should not tax mobile money, because mobile money transactions, a lot of the people who are using these transactions are very poor people. You know, someone will get sent 5 CDs on mobile money. Why would you want to tax that?
So what has changed within that period? This is Deputy Finance Minister Dr. John Kumah justifying the shift in policy.
Government did not just start by coming to introduce e-levy. We have gone through years of preparation, investing in digitalization and making sure we have interoperability, developing a special payment system that is one of the best in the world. And there has been consistent growth to a level where now we have reached a certain level of maturity in the estimation of government that we think it is about time to go into the digital space. First of all, the research we did indicated that there were a poor category of people who use Momo. And so this policy must find a way to exempt them. So we noticed that about 30% of people who use Momo in Ghana do not do more than 100 cedis a day. And that covers the poor category of Momo users. So this policy exempted any Momo transaction that is below and up to 100 and below Ghana cedis. You are exempted. That's the first thing. Secondly, it is the sender who will pay, not the receiver, who will pay the 1.75% and not the person receiving it. But those who have, that we want to take something from them. This is one of the progressive taxes in terms of the ability to pay principal in tax. It is one of the most equitable tax in terms of its outreach.
That's Deputy Finance Minister, Dr. John Kuma. Let's bring in the CEO of the Telecoms Chamber, Mr. Ken Ashigbe, because we are wondering how the telecommunications company are ready in themselves to implement this tax if approved by Parliament. We are grateful for your time, Mr. Ken Ashigbe. So how long have you and your members known about this e-tax, and how come you didn't give your consumers or customers a heads up?
Well, thank you very much, Amafa. You see, we've been engaging government severally on the stagnation of the sector several years back, and all of them we've had the view that the Vice President espoused in your clip that you played, that the timing was very important and it was not a good time now. So far as this particular levy is concerned, there was no engagement with industry before this imposition was done. But in the same statement that the Minister of Finance made, he talked about the fact that there is going to be some engagement now that the announcement has been made. So we are hopeful that we will go into this engagement with open mind so that we can all help in contributing to the objective of raising revenue, but also ensuring that the digital financial sector is not disrupted, ensuring that financial inclusion is pushed, ensure that government digitalization policy continues, and the poor and the vulnerable are also taken care of.
So what you're saying is that the chamber also heard this announcement, just like the ordinary Ghanaian.
Same as you did.
And you're going into this engagement, you've said, with an open mind. But hopefully, how are you hoping to, implement this particular tax? Is there a way out of it, even though you're going into this engagement?
Well, the information that has been put up by the minister is very clear. The detail will be in the engagement about how all of this is going to be implemented. Because, you see, when you look at the situation of merchant payment, for example, are you going to say that the universal QR code that has been adopted by government, if I go to buy Wache and I am carrying cash, and then you, MFI, you want to pay with the universal QR code, if we all were buy 100 pence worth of Wache, then I will pay 100 pence worth with my cash. But you, when you pay with the universal QR code, then you have to pay 100.
Well, it looks like we are losing you along the line, but is there not a fear that we've been hoping to go cashless as a society with the introduction of this tax? Are we not going backward to the system where we all now want to use cash to avoid this kind of tax? Hello, Mr. Ashigbe. It appears I've just lost Mr. Kenneth Ashigbe there, the CEO of the Telecoms Chamber. And you heard him there. They were stunned as we were all by this announcement by Ken Ofori-Atta yesterday in Parliament. But we'll stay on the e-levy because a Deputy Finance Minister, Dr. John Kuma, was on the AM show with a ranking member of the Finance Committee of Parliament, Dr. Kasiel Atoforcing, where host Israel sought clarification on whether the electronic transactions levy will affect wages. Yes, what we got.
So my employer is paying me my salary. my employer asked the bank to transfer the money to me, as they will do at the end of the month.
Yes.
They're going to pay a tax on it.
There will be 1.75% on transfers.
That is a problem.
Why?
Isn't it? Because then it means that in addition to, because I'm paying tax. My company is also paying tax. Now, it is also going to pay a tax for doing the transfer. It's going to add to their costs of doing business.
Yes.
And which they probably will then say, some employers will then decide that, okay, we're going to split it so that I'll pinch you a bit and I'll pay.
So what was the alternative, assuming they were not transferring?
No, right now, as it is, we're not having to pay that kind of tax.
So now what is going to happen is that what what employers are going to do? They'll go to the bank, take cash, and pay you cash.
So now I'm coming. So let's look at that process and see if it is even easier. Now bull vans are even being attacked. The inconvenience of going to cash, you are going to drive to the bank, right? You don't want to pay 1.75%, but you are going to buy fuel and drive to the bank to go and cash, risk the possibility of thieves following you. Is that what is proposed?
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Is that what is proposed?
It makes the point.
So clearly, I'm coming.
It makes the point.
I'm coming.
That we've been driving digitalization.
Yes, we are, but there's a reason why we are driving it, okay? And the objective of government is to be able to raise revenues to do the expenditures that you and I are expecting the government to do. There's a cost to everything.
So that was the interaction on the AM show there between Israel Lai, Dr. John Kuma, and Dr. Kasiel Atofo. So let me bring back briefly the Chief Executive of the Telecoms Chamber, Kenneth Ashigwe. It appears that is impossible. We'll do that subsequently. But Professor Godfred Bokping, we can hear from him now, and he says the proposal shows that government lacks innovation to improve revenue.
It is the wrong way to go. Government should just... It is the wrong way to go. Government should just abolish it before they even start implementing it. The reason we have adopted this approach, and it's a lazy way of raising revenue, right? It requires less effort. Because if you look at the existing tax handles, the inefficiency and the low productivity in the existing tax handles is a true reflection of our attitude to hard work. We have failed. We are adopting these indirect ways that imposes greater cost on the poor and the marginalized and the socially excluded to fill up the revenue gap. This is what we are doing. And that is why 2021, you will see some levies, sanitation, this, and all of that. You see, the inequality enhancing effect of these tax handles are high. Already, Ghana's inequality is above the minimum threshold by the IMF, by which inequality then tends to negatively influence growth. We are saying that we want to use MOMO in paying taxes. We want to use MOMO in doing this and all of that. Then you slam this levy on it.
Economist Professor Godfred Bokping there. On the other hand, though, is some relief for motorists because effective immediately, you will not pay tolls on public roads. The Ministry of Roads and Highways has scrapped the collection of road and bridge tolls on all public roads in line with the spirit of the 2022 budget statement. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba was on the Tema motorway. Here's his report.
As you can see, this place is currently bare without sellers. Some of the sellers who are even around are unable to do business here. Here at the Accra Tema motorway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the toll booths, all of them are empty. The only people we can see here is the Ghana Police Service, armed police officers, 2 of them, signaling motorists to continue with their journey, to move and not to stop. Let's speak to some of the sellers who have been cashing in on the congestion that is created here as a result of the toll booth. Let's speak to them. Many of them are telling me that their source of livelihood now is gone because this toll booth is no longer going to function. And that is what we saw when we visited the Wager toll booth also. You're from saying?
Bacho Efremi Juliana. Aheya ni yeye edwuma dididi. Aheya ni yeye edwuma de shayemba. Ye ni medwuma bia e wo man mu aye be kwa akoye. Ye ni medwuma bia e wo man mu aye be ye den. Ye be kwa akoye.
Ede na na wo ton.
Me pacho nkosia na manu esi we. Omo se omo ma me njinem. Minim de yanko yes yanko bo krono so yanko bo as. But to your master up your mobile say yanko ya den.
Okay, well, basically what she's saying is that now that they've stopped collecting the toll, what do they want them to do?
That's my colleague Masola Gbagba reporting from the Tema motorway. Well, my colleague Inimado was at the Kaswa toll booth also. Yes,
no more collection of money at the tolls. You don't have to pay the usual 50 pesos or 1 CD at the tolls to be able to get through. And so you can see that traffic is moving so freely this morning. What's really funny though is there's some people who perhaps may have missed the budget and so are still sticking out their hands to try and pay the toll operators, the non-existent toll operators who this morning are not at post. That's been quite funny to see. But on the large, people are just driving through. A lot of cars are honking when other cars slow down. Perhaps those who don't know that they're not meant to stop and give money anymore.
That's Inimado reporting from Kaswa. So what's the real reason behind the scrapping of the paying of these tolls? Is it because of congestion? Well, civil engineer Mahama Abdullahi, who is also a road and building consultant, is not convinced that it will ease congestion.
The weather traffic, and you want to juxtapose that to be the cause of the inconvenience across all toll booths, over 38 or so in the country. That doesn't even constitute about 2%. What I see from where I sit and my experience in the field of engineering for the past 17 years, the traffic locations are not properly designed and spaces are not properly allocated to those junctions. So we have the Dodua one, which is so pronounced, the Michelle Camp one, which is so pronounced, Appian Road, and then the Wager one. When you go on the Accra Kumasi Highway, when you go on the Accra Winneba Road, Takrady Road, tell me one of the toll booths that is generating the congestion. We have over 2.5 million vehicles in Ghana now.
So that's Engineer Abdullahi Muhammad there. But let me take you to Parliament because it's emerging that the minorities to hold the Roads Minister, Kwesi Amoakwata, to Parliament over this particular directive. My colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson joins us on the line. What exactly is the concern of the minority?
So, Dominic Ayeni is the member of Parliament for Bokatanga East, and he's making the point to me that the minister is actually in breach of the Constitution. And you say with me briefly there, why do you think the minister is in breach of the Constitution by asking the suspension of the tolls?
Yeah, the basic principle of law is that Parliament does not speak in vain. In other words, when Parliament enacts a policy into law, okay, that law is binding on every person who is directed by way of obligation to conduct the affairs of the state in a certain manner. So, for instance, in the case of the Road Tolls Act, the Minister of Roads is supposed to, impose road tolls by regulation, right? Okay, on the population of road users. All right. Now that is a statutory obligation that cannot be waived or in any way repealed by a directive of the minister. And so, what the minister has done is grossly unconstitutional. It is illegal. Because until such a time that Parliament passes the Appropriations Act, all right, and in the Appropriations Act repeals the Road Tolls Act or the portion of it that deals with the tolling of roads, the minister has no right whatsoever. He lacks the power, to suspend the operation of those acts.
So now that he's directed, what happens then?
Well, he's contravened an act of Parliament. It should be possible for us to summon him here to give reasons why he has done so. And if the reasons are not, acceptable, then we can censure him at the House.
Thank you very much. That's the member of Parliament for Bokatanga East, Dominic Ayeni.
Thank you very much. That's my colleague Parker-Wilson there reporting from Parliament, and the minority intends to hold the Roads Minister, Kwesi Amoakwata, to Parliament over this particular directive. Now, let's turn our attention to football, because the Ghana Football Association this afternoon has described as shocking and irresponsible match-fixing allegations leveled against it by South Africa's Football Association, SAFA. So Ghana edged out South Africa 1-0 in the final group game of the World World Cup qualifier played in Cape Coast on Sunday. Well, the South Africans contend that the penalty awarded Ghana, which led to the only goal of the match, was predetermined and are demanding replay of that game, and also on neutral ground, they say. But in a strongly worded statement, the GFA has condemned SAFA, describing the allegations as irresponsible. Muftau Nabila joins me in studio with more on this. We'll get into the GFA statement shortly, but Muftau, briefly, give us a background to this growing dispute.
Okay, so it actually started 1 hour after the game at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium, where the match commissioner was notified by the chief executive officer of SAFA, Tebogo Motlanthe, that they were going to file a protest because they felt that the decisions of the referee were not at their best, and on Monday they filed a protest at FIFA.
Okay, well, the GFA has been responding because yesterday we know that SAFA held a press conference where they put out their facts and all. Let's go through the GFA response to the allegations made by SAFA.
Okay, so what the GFA say is that SAFA's claims that there were alleged match manipulation and all that, as you mentioned, they say they are shocking, they are frivolous, and that the Ghana Football Association, or specifically, let's say the Black Stars, have always beaten South Africa. So why would they not accept defeat in good faith and move on? And that is the bigger picture that the Ghana Football Association is looking at. They claim that the integrity of football in the continent and the world is being tarnished by SAFA, and they would not allow SAFA to do that.
It's what SAFA said yesterday.
Yes.
The articles, you are journalists, there was one saying that if Ghana loses this match, there'll be major problems, even for the president of the country, if they lose this match. Then there's another one that says that Ghana will at least get 2 penalties. If not, then we will definitely get 1 penalty. Those things are there. And then there is a further one saying that this is a must-win for Ghana, a win at all costs. Ghana must win.
Well, they talk about bet spiking just before the penalty was also awarded. But Muftau, we understand that one Ghanaian football fan has been attacked in South Africa due to this. Is this something we can confirm?
According to some media reports in South Africa, one Ghanaian, 1 year old, was stabbed yesterday following disagreements over the penalty decision, and that's what we know for now. But Joy Sports cannot independently confirm whether it is true or not.
So now that FIFA has received the complaint and asked Ghana to file a response, where are we with it? What's next?
What is next is that FIFA actually said that they will forward the protest filed by SAFA to its disciplinary committee on November 23. So they expect the Ghana FA to make available their comments they deem good enough for FIFA's disciplinary committee by November 23. So one clear thing is that FIFA would not just rely on the evidence made available by SAFA, because what FIFA usually does is that they go about investigating some of these things on their own. So I remember the Senegal South Africa game in 2017, FIFA independently investigated, set up 15 best referees in the continent. They commissioned them. They also brought a professor from Scotland to ensure that they all advised them on the decision of Joe Lamte in that game. So what we expect is that FIFA is likely to go on this tangent once again and arrive at whether there were external factors in the outcome of the match against Bafana Bafana.
Muftau Nabila, many thanks for your company. There's more of that on Joy Sports on myjoyonline.com and also on your social media platforms. You get all the scoop when it comes to this particular row between SAFA and the GFA. It's a good time for a quick breather here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. Unproductive, unacceptable, and lazy. Some reactions we're getting to government's proposal for the introduction of e-taxes. We've been hearing from the Ghana Telecoms Chamber, who's also as surprised as we all are about this introduction. When we return, we have showbiz and it's bars on bars on bars. The God MC himself finally drops his much anticipated album, Medina to the Universe.
Up on the roof, Mr. Fiddler. Only 2 rappers I know in Africa. Medina to the universe, la la la.
On November October 25th, 2021, leading government officials, C-level representatives, free zone experts, investment and promotion agencies, and delegates from 50 African countries will meet at the AFCFTA Secretariat in Accra for the 6th Annual African Economic Zone Organization (IZO) meeting. The annual meeting is being organized by IZO and the Ghana Free Zones Authority under the theme Connecting African Special Economic Zones (SEZS) to Global Value Chains (GVCS) in the era of the African Free Trade Area (AFCFTA). The event will be hosted at the African Continental Free Trade Secretariat in a hybrid format, rigorously respecting the health measures and the live virtual retransmission. The meeting will chart a path for maximizing free zone activities within the Africa Free Trade Area. Among those who will speak are Mrs. Angela Paulini Ellard, Deputy Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Lee Yong, Director General of UNIDO, His Excellency Mr. Wamkele Mene, Secretary General of the AFCFTA Secretariat, Honorable Alan Kojo Tremartin, Minister for Trade and Industry, His Excellency Ambassador Michael Aaron Okwe Jr., Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Free Zones Authority, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, President of the AFDB, and His Excellency Albert Muchanga, Commissioner for Trade and Industry of the African Union Commission, AUC. Institutional partners for the IZO 6th annual meeting include the African Development Bank Group, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, Tanga Med Agency, and the Oxford Business Group. Media partner is Joy Business.
It's Hollandia yogurt, a nourishing snack. Check. Vitality. Check. Taste. Check. Vitamins, calcium. Check. It's Hollandia yogurt. It's Hollandia yogurt. Hollandia yogurt.
Enjoy a nourishing boost of vitality with Hollandia yogurt. Available in strawberry and plain sweetened, fortified with vitamins A, B2, B12, and a source of calcium. Grab a pack of nourishment and level up. This advert is FDA approved.
Charlie, this festive season, because I choose sports action. I choose local drama where get plot twist. I choose world-class music. I choose romantic shows where they be. For kiddies, I choose cartoon shows where laughter and quade. Make you choose over 80 channels full of joyful entertainment. Choose DSTV for 169 Ghana cedis per AB standard, the HD decoder, diskette, and 1 month DSTV access package all day long. DSTV, it's your moment.
Many thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Off to the prisons, and the service is urging government to extend the ongoing moves to digitalize the economy to the prisons. Director General of the service, Isaac Ejui, says this will greatly improve the work of the service by minimizing paperwork while enabling it to assess criminal records quickly to share with other law enforcement agencies who may rely on such information.
Critical look, in my view, ought to be taken on the procedure for trial of criminal cases in Ghana, the kinds of punishments inflicted after trial.
So that's the Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame there during his visit to the prisons. It's time for NSMQ, and for the second time in the history of the competition, Sugakope SHS has qualified to the quarterfinal stage of the competition. They managed to win the contest against Sinyai SHS and Koforidua SHS with 43 points. Their first qualification to the quarterfinal stage of the competition was in 2015, but the Lower Volta University, as they call themselves, are hopeful of sustaining the gains made so far.
We didn't do any special thing. The thing is, we are all students and we are all learning for a contest. So maybe they didn't learn well and we learned more than what they did and we won them. So we just showed to them what we can do.
To add to that, we are not intimidated by those big names. Those big names who do anything to us. We are not afraid of them. We are here for the cup. We are going for
students of the Sugakope SHS. And just so you know, Ola Girls SHS Ho have also qualified to the 1/8 stage of the competition. Remember that the 2021 National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with APSA Ghana. The broadcast of the National Science and Maths Quiz on Journeys is supported by Cowbell Milk, Puppets Pizza, Ace Medical Insurance, Tampico, DBS Industries Limited, ULesson, Kings Group Limited, Dole Yogurt, and Smart App. And of course, tune in to the Joy News channel all day tomorrow. We're bringing you 3 exciting contests you don't want to miss. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News. But of course, it's Medina to the Universe, and the God MC has released an album. I'll leave you with that. Remember, after that also we have Living Word with Pastor Mensel Tabil. I am Emefa Apau. Have a good afternoon.
Just a bobbing weave, just